Say when.
When?
Is it when? It's
We
when.
are live.
Welcome to the Prospectors Radio Show, the talk show for our community. Please welcome Rich Cooley, Indiana Gold Hunter Dennis Dayton,
Jaron Wheeler, Rob White Gold. Who did I forget? Scott Tony, and your host, Tim Grimes. I want to thank you for tuning in and hope you enjoyed the show. What's happening?
Finally enjoying the nice weather without any rain.
Nice weather. It's the sun shined here for a little bit and then it got cloudy and cold again.
Nice. 65 degrees, been beautiful weather. Man.
It's been nothing but gray and cloudy.
Beautiful. The morel mushrooms are starting to pop up around here.
Are they?
Yep.
Oh yeah, mushroom season.
They're just now starting to find some blacks and grays.
Mushroom season. Yay.
Yes.
Hey.
I'm excited.
I had the smoker fired up all day.
I bet you
nice.
did.
What you smoking? What you smoking, Rich?
Venison ham.
Nice.
Venison ham.
Yep.
Is it good? I've never had venison ham.
What is that made, or how do you make that?
Oh, basically you took a hind quarter and you deboned it, and I put it in a cure brine.
Right.
Basically took salt, sugar, brown sugar, water, made 2 gallons of it, put it in a big container, stuck it in the refrigerator for 14 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On the 14th day, take it out, wash it off, soak it in regular water for about 2 hours, take it out, wring it out, put it in a mesh, inject it with my injection that I want in it. And I put like a cherry type seasoning in it. And then left it set overnight in the fridge. Next morning, took it out, put a dry rub on it, put it in the smoker, started out at 150 for 2 hours, bumped it up to 180 for 2 hours, and then up to 200 for 2 hours, and then 220, and then 240. And I just put it off.
And did you?
Internal temperature about 160. So now I leave it set for about 3-4 hours to let it rest, and I'll put it in the fridge overnight. Tomorrow when I get off of work, I'll put it on the meat slicer and slice it up. And vacuum pack it.
I hope is this the first time you made it?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I wonder if it's really, really good. Yeah. It must be really, really good if you go through that kind of.
Oh, it is. I can't keep it fast enough.
I was gonna say, if you go through all that to make it, it must be really good.
The problem of it is it don't last long.
No, of course not. Middle, Dennis.
Go with the middle. All right.
Middle.
All right, Rich. Rich always reads it.
Would you rather be able to fly or turn invisible, and why?
Who's going to answer first?
I think I'd rather be able to turn invisible.
You would rather have invisibility? Okay.
Yeah.
Any certain reason why? Or
well, I mean, especially at work when things are kind of slow and your supervisors come around trying to find something for you to do. Just turn invisible. You don't see me. Out of sight, out of mind.
All right. I'll accept that. Rob?
Or the wife wants the honeydew list, then I could just turn invisible.
And you're not there.
Yep.
Yeah. Wonder where he went. I don't know. Rob?
I really don't know. I mean, they both sound like a great idea. I mean,
I love both.
if you're invisible and no, I ain't gonna say that. But then again, you can always fly away when you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Scott?
Yeah, fly, I guess.
Any certain reason? Just because
I can get there quicker.
It'd be cool. Rich, what about you?
Invisible, I can get a lot more done.
Oh, you probably could.
Wouldn't be bothered.
Makes sense.
Darren,
Fly so I could avoid traffic.
I'm going with fly too, so I could just get to where I need to be like right now. Like I'm there.
Like what? That's a good idea, especially go back to visit family in
You
Oklahoma.
don't have to drive. Like I'm there.
Anybody answered in the chat room or
You're just flying along, reading a book while you're flying, listening to some music.
Randy says fly. John says turn invisible.
Do they give reasons?
No.
Of course they don't. Fly would definitely be cool. Be able to fly. Yeah,
I'm afraid so I don't know.
I'd fly. Yeah, definitely.
I guess if you could fly, you wouldn't be afraid of heights then. So
Oh, right. You'd be flying.
You'd be almost invisible too, because who's going to be looking in the sky for a flying guy?
Right.
flying fat man.
Yeah, and then you could just, see it.
They could just label you as a UFO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going flying. I'd be fly all day. Yeah.
Okay.
Good one. Good one. Good one.
Good one.
Good one. You know what else is flying? Damn gold prices.
Oh,
Scott,
maybe.
that Jew.
He turned invisible.
Can't hear
Do
you.
what?
I said that was your cue. I said, you know what else is flying? Those gold prices.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. Oh, I ain't been on it today, guys. So
All right.
yeah, gold took a $19 drop as of today, I guess, or tonight. Went down. That's standing at $3,220. Silver went down in the red 21 cents, but it is up to 32.13.
I like it.
Platinum went up $2 to $956. Palladium went down $4 to $938, and rhodium stayed unch at $5,850.
What about that?
Always. What about the old Bitcoin age?
It is at $83,428.
Is
Okay.
that down from last week?
From last week, it's probably close to the same. Let me see.
Yeah. Sounds like it's around the same area. It was in the 80s.
It's actually a little higher than last week.
Higher. Not sure if it was 84 or 86 last week. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So cool. Gold's the only winner this week, it seems like. Well, silver's a winner too. So
Man, it is about time to get out and get some testing and sampling done for this new spot I'm going to.
oh, the one you was telling us about?
Yep.
The one down the road?
Yep.
The one that
They'll
you
bring and deliver in a dump
Yep.
truck for free. Yep.
dump truck of dirt put in your yard.
Man, you can't beat that. They don't have to show or nothing. It just they bring it to you.
You're gonna have to set you up a wash plant.
You bet your sweet butt. If it's got gold in it, I will have a wash plant set up. Guaranteed.
Then it's a wash plant right in the yard.
Hey, what's this thing you said thinking about selling?
What's that?
I said I'll have to get a hold of Lee
Oh yeah.
on that
See?
thing he was talking about maybe selling.
Dennis will have all of his runoff water going into the culvert ditch. It'll be running down the roads.
I'll probably have to dig some kind of a trench or tunnel. That way they don't see it, out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? Because then they might say, "Oh no, you got to have a permit, or you can't do that," or
They would. Yeah.
yeah.
Something crazy. Speaking of wash plants, okay, did you guys watch the gold rush?
No,
Rich, no.
Nope.
No. Scott, no.
Nope.
Rob
Yes.
and Jaron and me.
Yes.
And your thoughts?
Well, the season finale is next week, so
Is it really?
yep.
All right.
And
who's been doing the best so far this year? Parker.
Kevin, or not Kevin, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony Beach.
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah. He's already.
He exceeded his 5,000
Yeah.
already.
Holy cows!
Yeah.
Who?
Tony Beach.
Tony.
Tony. Yeah. Tony Beats. Yeah, he's already blew by his 5,000 ounce goal.
Wow.
Yeah. And go on, Jared. What else?
I was just gonna say, and then his kids asked him, since we beat our goal, is that our bonus? And he said, nope,
No.
no.
Oh, Dad's a tightwad.
Hey, he bought Monica a new wash plant. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
they were gonna be running some old tailings
Yeah,
because they couldn't get that other place to dry out.
Hmm.
that'll be
But
a next year cut.
yeah, that sluice a lot pulled in 205.8 this week. Mike with his trommel pulled in 264.76. And I don't remember how far that put him over their 5,000. I just remember that it put it over.
Some 180 over their 5,000 or something.
Wow.
Pretty high. Yeah, they blew right past the five. And Dan and Rick.
Rick didn't have a clean out. Kevin didn't have a clean out. Parker is the only other one that did.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Big Red pulled in 96.2, which is about what it's been doing all year.
Huh?
Bob, 290.5 ounces.
Huh?
Wow.
Roxanne the Trommel, 276.1. And it was Big Red that is destroyed, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the
Yeah,
one.
I think Big Red's done.
Done. No,
Big Red done?
it shook itself
Yep.
apart.
Wow. That's not that old, is it?
No, it was actually quite old, they said.
It's one of the oldest, I think it is the oldest piece of equipment he has.
Wow.
Didn't they say that Big Red has brought in like 35,000 ounces of gold in its lifespan?
Man, I'm surprised.
Something because I know when he hit 50,000, I think 30,000 of it was like Big Red.
I'm surprised they're not going to rebuild it.
Well, they might, but not this season. It's too late.
Well, they could do it in the
Yeah.
off season.
It needs a lot of work. The metal's all thin as
Oh, wait, I
paper.
do stand corrected. Rick did have a clean out, but I stepped away and I asked in chat what was the total and nobody
Yeah,
answered.
I couldn't remember what the total was.
I'm
Oh.
sitting here looking at it, but I can't hear what he's saying.
It was crapola. It wasn't like last week, put it that way. It was like
Well, that's
100 some ounces or something.
nice.
It looks he's got a lot of fine gold, but he just put like a bunch of cornflakes in a gold pan.
Oh,
So I
but
mean, like every one of them looks like cornflakes. They're big pieces of gold.
are
There's
you
a
looking at
whole.
last week's or the week before?
I'm looking. It says April 11th.
That would be last week's, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would have been Friday. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't see him putting no cornflakes in. I just seen him measuring out the jug, and it was like
Right.
100 and some ounces. So, yeah.
Nice.
Well, they got screwed up on their cut for a couple days, so yeah, that's probably why. Or they'd have been back in the 200 ounce range. So next week's season finale.
The finale.
Is it
And
gonna be?
that'll be what, 2 hours?
That's what I was wondering. It's gonna be a
Most likely.
one?
They've been 2 hours for about a month now.
Wow.
It'll be 45 minutes commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hour and 45-minute commercials.
Crazy. It's what it is. It's crazy, but we'll watch it. Season finale. Then it should be back to Bering Sea Gold time, right?
Yeah. The ice.
Should be. Immediately following. And time for the old Skinwalker Ranch again to be coming back.
Blind frog, something.
Yep.
Pine Frog.
The rotation is about to begin.
Yeah. Or wait, is this when they all take the summer break and right now?
Oak Island.
Oak Island. Go Oak Island.
That's
Yeah.
right. Go,
Yeah,
go.
go away.
Oh, go for the gusto. Keep sinking them pylons or whatever.
That's right.
Right?
They're going to find it. I'm telling you. Y'all going to be.
They're all
You-
over. They're right.
John Hunt's saying that the Rush Whitewater is supposed to start up on the 25th.
I thought Whitewater was done. Or is
Well,
it?
they still have one more season.
Oh, they still have one more season. Oh, cool! I can't wait to watch that.
Because they didn't have a season last year, did they?
I don't
That's
know.
As
what
far
this
as I know,
is.
they're not having a season this year.
No more, right? No more televised seasons, anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
Yeah, and that's on the 25th.
April.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Get to watch that.
Yeah.
I always enjoy that.
I know what's going on the 27th.
What?
Talladega, baby.
Talladega. Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby.
Left turn. Left turn.
My boy Young Money took Bristol today. Woo, with the W.
Who's that?
Kyle Larson.
Oh.
He
I
dominated that
don't know
race.
your little racer.
He come in second in the truck series, and he won the Xfinity series, and then he won today. So pretty good
Damn.
record. Almost got the sweep. Almost got the 3-race sweep.
Is he sponsored by Pokemon?
That'd be Dennis's truck.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Sponsored by
Got
Pokemon.
catch them all.
No, they want to know we having a show next Sunday. It's Easter.
Who wants to know?
The chat room.
Are we? We
Yeah.
always usually do, don't we?
Yeah, we usually
On
do.
Easter.
Easter's just a day thing. We usually do.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm still going to an Easter event or not. My church is kind of begging me to come.
If you go, you'll probably be back by the time the show starts,
Oh,
right?
oh yeah, I know that. But,
Right? That's what I'm saying. So it's up to you guys. I say yeah.
Yeah, we can have it.
Are you going to find the Easter eggs?
I mean, I'll be a half hour late because I work next weekend, but
Metal detector.
yeah. Whatever.
Hey, that's an idea. Metal detector Easter egg hunt. Uh-huh.
Ooh,
Put coins in the Easter egg, the plastic Easter eggs, and hide them, and then beep.
Put coins in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Gosh. Very interesting. All right. Now I believe we have a guest tonight, thanks to old Rob over there. Rob,
Yeah.
tell us about him.
Oh yeah. Just give me a second. We got Shane from Ohio River History. He's also a metal detectorist and relic hunter. So let me go ahead and send him a link.
Send him the old link.
It's going.
Oh, that beautiful beam.
Oops.
Roll that
Wrong
baby.
one. Copy link. There we go.
Copy.
Boom. Sent, and he should be here in a second. I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, I've talked to him a few times. He has his own YouTube channel, does live streams every Thursday night.
Maybe he's got some show and tell items, and
Yeah, I'm hoping he does.
that would be cool. Yeah. Some cool Ohio River relics.
Oh.
Sure, there's quite a few interesting Ohio relics. We're soon to find out. Yeah. Yeah. Ohio River. Scott, quit playing with your toys.
I didn't think you could see that.
I can see it if your camera's on. I
The
turned
Ohio River Valley is rich in history, metal detecting, and treasure hunting. The
Uh-huh.
history lessons and applying what we find to where we find it. Old coins help us age the areas as we dig, and the relics we find, we hope, helps us tell a story about the site.
Cool.
The earlier settlers' conflicts with the Native Americans to the Civil War, border state conflicts, and such. He uses a Nocta implex and a Simtex. Simplex. So those are two different detectors by the same company.
Right.
I'm hoping he got the
Oh,
deal.
or whatever that's called. Nocta.
Yeah, Nocta. So now he finds pretty good, interesting stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of history down in that area.
Oh yeah.
On the Ohio River. Yeah. Definitely is. A lot of history. Yeah.
Go ahead and post a link to his YouTube channel in the chat.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, there there's the link. Now we just wait for Shane.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And here's well, actually, that's way too long. I can't send that through YouTube. He has a website.
Uh-huh.
I'll go ahead and type it in. Ohio River History.com. So you guys can check that out.
Yeah. Oh, Ed said he's been up to Flash Bash twice. He lives in Kentucky, close to the Ohio River. Thank you, Ed Earl.
And you might be having a problem with the link. See if I can try this again.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes people do.
Yeah.
Copy link. Unless Jaron, he might be able to send them the link too. I don't know.
Yeah, I can give it a try.
Give it a whirl. Turn up the juice and see what shakes loose. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
He got his mic muted.
He's muted. And there he is there.
Yo.
There he is.
Here,
How are you, Shane?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Doing good, man. How are you tonight?
I work so much that I don't know what day it is anymore.
It is Sunday.
It is. I work on a riverboat casino and
Oh, cool.
down here in Indiana, the Ohio River's been just flat flooded for the last 10 days, and we've been fighting water levels on this boat. So
Oh,
I've been living at work.
I bet all the rain we've gotten. Yep. It's been crazy.
We're finally back down to normal. Tomorrow we get to turn off the generators and go back to shore power, and hopefully life goes back to normal for the rest of the year because I'm
Right.
sick of overtime.
That's probably a pretty fun gig, though, ain't it?
It's not bad. I've been there almost 25 years now, so
Oh, wow. Probably about since they opened that thing, right?
I was they opened it. They had a crew of maintenance guys come in. None of them were really qualified to do the job, so I came in as a like an ice machine tech, and then I've hung out ever since. Turned into a
Wow.
pretty good gig.
That's cool. Nothing wrong with that, man. If I ever hit the riverboat again, I'll look for you.
It's a waste of money.
Well, yeah, they all are, ain't they?
Listen, I've seen I got there's so many horror stories about the casino that you probably don't ever hear or see.
Right.
But, we have a bank, that can give you markers. You can take out as much money as you like if you've got the credit.
Right.
There's a little side entrance to this area where you can go if you want to talk to a financial advisor, and you can walk in there, and I shit you not, you can mortgage your house. You can put a lien on your vehicle. You can put a lien on an IRA. They have the financial capability to let you get money out of anywhere you want to get it.
They're in the pawn shop industry.
Hey,
Pretty much.
it's very similar because when people are on the spend and people are they have all the gambling addiction signs up, but
Sure.
they're feeding into your addiction, and if you're gonna risk everything, the odds are always in our favor.
Oh,
And
yeah.
They're gonna take it.
you ain't kidding. I watched a lady that was a high roller for 10 years come in there, and she lost her whole inheritance. She lost her mom's business. I mean, it's just I'm grateful for the paycheck every week. I love the life. Everybody knows the risk going in, but
Sure.
it's
Right.
kind of sad, I mean, you see people throw it away.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, especially if you already have it and then you're throwing it away, it's kind of dumb. It's the people that don't
I
have
never
nothing and
understood
they're
that.
hoping for just that one big win so they can make their life a little better. And
And
it's
it never comes.
no, but the ones that already have a great life and they're in there just throwing it away, it's like, really? What are you doing?
No.
Well, there's always a chance you could win.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. It's
Yeah.
never happened to me. That's why I don't gamble much. I've seen a couple people that I know hit, like $10,000, and
Right.
and then they're thrilled to death.
Sure.
but they give it right back.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
the thing. They usually always leave it there, right? Hey,
Yeah.
that's how the casinos stay in business.
I work there, I get paid.
That's
That's
right.
what I'm worried
That's good
about.
enough, right? Yep.
I used to have a friend that come in and she would, and I try to strike her a deal as she walked onto the boat. I'd be like, listen, here's the deal. I said, take half of the money you got in your pocket right now and hand it to me. And then call me and I'll be standing here when you go home and I'll hand you half of that money back. And then at least that way I know you're going home with some of your money tonight.
Makes sense. It's a smart move.
Yeah, I got in trouble for making that deal. Somebody from security told on me, and they're like, "Listen, you can't do that shit." I'm like, "Okay."
But she's a friend.
Yeah. When I usually when I go to the boat, I always end up taking usually 200. I put a limit two. Sometimes if I had worked a little overtime, maybe 300. But that's it. When I go, I leave my debit cards at home and everything. And
Ah,
I always put $10 back in my glove box because I always like when I'm done gambling, I'm always hungry. So I always stop at McDonald's or something and grab something to eat.
that's
But I
called playing
always set
playing
myself.
responsibly, Dennis. That's what you
Yeah,
do.
usually if you take about 200 on the boat, by the time you're done, you have earned enough in comps to get a cheeseburger and fries on your way out the door.
There you go.
Yep.
That's good enough because you know
Yep.
you're going to leave it there anyway. So I always I take what I plan on leaving there. That's it. Yep.
Yep.
And if you win, good. If not, oh well. It was a fun night for
I
$200.
win, I pocket that, and I win again. I'll pocket that, and
You always
pay
win.
off my wins, and that's it.
I
So
didn't I didn't realize you guys was already live. I didn't even see it go live.
yeah,
Well,
it's
we would,
7:30.
yeah, we'd like to be able to get a quick intro and talk about gold prices before we get our guests on.
Then
But
we get
I'm
our
glad you were able to join us.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So
Yeah, this is cool. I haven't been over here. I haven't talked to you guys except for Rob mainly,
yeah.
for the most part. So this is cool. I'm looking forward to it. I just got the chat brought up. I see all my buddies in the chat, so it's
Cool.
nice.
Awesome. So you're down in Kentucky. What part of Kentucky you in?
So I'm on the Ohio River. I'm halfway between Cincinnati and Louisville.
Okay. And so you're detecting a lot of history sites down there, probably, right?
There's it never really came to fruition as being in the history books, but as Kentucky being a moderate state in the Civil War, there
Right.
was a lot of skirmishes in this area that were unrecorded. So we
Oh,
find quite a bit of Civil War history. There's stories and there's properties that I'm trying to get on that that have a little bit more, but Morgan's Raiders is ran through Indiana and Ohio looking for gold, trying to stop. I think they were sending gold out west to buy lead in Arkansas, that kind of thing.
uh-huh.
So it's always a history lesson, no matter where we're at and what we're doing.
Okay. So you just mainly detect in Kentucky, or you work
Mainly
all
in
over?
mainly in Indiana. I got a couple spots over here, but I grew up in Indiana. Most of
Oh,
my friends are over there, so uh, most of the people I detect over there. But yeah, it's both, but
right.
mainly over there.
Okay, not too much on the Ohio side either.
I haven't been to Ohio detecting except for one time, and I'd like to get, the further east you go, the older the ground gets, really, basically. So I like going east. I just don't have, that many spots that way.
Right. Right. I got you. So what kind of spots you checking? You can tell a lot of farmland or
Um, Primarily, so if you look at a house and you see a property that is normal out there, and then you can tell that the house has been built in the 1800s. Somebody's knocked that door, right? Somebody's been there, asked. You're either cleaning up their scraps or you're taking new equipment and hopefully finding something a little deeper that they didn't find. Um, it's really all in research, finding where old homesteads were at, and trying to go find undug sites, because that's really the only way it seems like you're really going to find anything unique anymore.
right.
Most people don't leave a lot in the ground or a lot of good stuff.
Now, didn't they set up a lot of camps alongside the Ohio River back in the
Yeah, so right across from where I work, there's a farm field that was bought up by a steel plant, and they lease it to the farmers. And so there's a documented skirmish that happened there. There's supposed to be uh, grave sites where they buried soldiers in this field
Wow.
that they've never historically looked for or anything like that. I'd like to find it and mark it. But you find that government sometimes is a little finicky about anything like that. Anytime they think that there's an opportunity that you're going to get something that they're not going to get a piece of, a lot of times the answer is generally no. So
Gotcha. I would think there'd be a lot of places along the Ohio River and stuff that you could check, and would be just open. But
yeah, all across the state of Indiana, if anybody, I love getting down by the river, any place that, that had housing or farm fields, because you just don't know what you're going to find. We
yeah,
find 1600s Chinese cash coins, and we found a few half reals. So, there's the really old stuff here, but it's just spread out. You gotta get a little lucky too, right?
right.
Yeah.
So that's a great part of it, the luck. That's definite. So what's the coolest thing you've ever found?
Man, that's a trick question. I have a site that's in Indiana. It's when they were settling the state of Indiana, there was they basically, when they tried to incorporate a new town, they would start building, infrastructure like a post office, road system, stuff like that. I got a permission on this house that was built in the early 1800s right next to a fort. When the U.S. military came in, they built a fort to fend off the Indians.
Uh-huh.
I found a lot of really cool stuff there, but the one thing that was the most historical thing that I ever probably found was this iron skeleton key, because they brought it. So when this general moved out, when he moved west, when he got his orders to come out here and protect this new town, that when they left places, they just up and left, but they took things like the locks on their doors with them, so that they would put them in when they moved out there, because they didn't have money, or not many people were, there wasn't new blacksmiths or anything like that out here, so they stuff like that they took with them, and they had the same keys that they brought over from England when they moved over here to begin with. So this key is from like the 1600s. I had it out just recently, and I must have stuck it back in the case because I don't see it. I was going to show you, but uh, that's my favorite find, just because of the historical track that it took to get here. Right, it started out in England somewhere, and by the time it got into the ground where I'm at, it probably had 2 or 3 stops along the way.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you track the history of something like that?
So Indiana has great resources. I had to find a Rev War guy up in the Northeast. Uh, the gentleman Bill Ladd from Digfellows recommended him, and I showed him the key that when I had found it, and he was able to tell me that it came from England and it was made in the 1600s. He wasn't able to tell me specifically because a lot of them looked alike. Um, but at that point in time, you just, and then that's what he was the one that told me the story, that they would take the locks out of the doors and bring them with them. That's why the old locking mechanisms were a big square plate, and they unbolted it from the door, and then they put it wherever they moved, so they didn't have to replace it. I guess you don't go to Home Depot in 1758.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably took weeks to make a lock.
Yeah, just imagine how much time and effort it went to make a lock that worked like that.
Yeah.
That nobody that and back then, nobody other than maybe an Indian was going to try at that time was going to try to break into your house. But nice to have, a big sturdy lock.
Sure. I mean, probably only the more well-off people had locks. The rest of them just had a chunk of wood that went across the inside of their door.
That'll work too. The way the houses were built back then too was, the thickness of the block walls, and just the way that on this property there was one house that's still remaining, and the walls are still standing, and it was built in 1808,
Wow.
when they first got out there. I mean, so they built things really well. but the Indians were not happy at that time. In the early 1810s and right there, they were being forced away from the Ohio River Valley north, and they just kept getting pushed. And what happens when you keep pushing people?
Right.
Eventually, they snap, and
They
that's
put
kind of
back.
what happened.
Yep, they pushed back, Dennis. That's right. Wow, crazy. That's pretty cool, though. A lot of interesting history up that way for sure.
So,
Yeah.
so I got a question for you.
Shoot.
What would you say out of all the time that you metal detecting or anything like that would be probably the most scariest moment you ever had?
Scariest moment I ever had.
Yep.
I got a spot out here on there's you can't metal detect in state parks, but state forestry they'll allow you to, and there's a lot of homesteads out on some of these things. I just about went through the top of an old well by myself out along this creek in the Indiana National Forest a while back. I went one knee down in, one leg in, and I had to grab to hold on
Whoa.
because it was you couldn't see it. I didn't know it was there. And the scary part was I was by myself and it was kind of hard to pull myself up.
Oh,
But at least
wow.
I threw my gear away so that it didn't go down. But I caught myself. I was
Cool.
really glad I didn't have the GoPro on at that point in time because I would have showed it, and it was pretty scary to my brain.
Oh, I
Did,
bet.
well, the biggest thing is, even though you're by yourself, did anybody know where you was at?
No.
In case down in there,
Haven't you ever left the house in the morning and decided that you was going to go treasure hunting and you had no idea where you were going? You was just going to wait until you got there, until where your brain told you to go. Well, I do that all the time.
Well,
That's why we always say it starts with the plan, ends with the plan.
I yes, I've been there, but after being married for 30 years, when I figure out where I'm going to be at, I always make sure I call and let the boss know, hey, I'm over here.
Yeah.
Because two things: if something was to happen to me, no one would know where I'm at, and if I don't let them know where I'm at, I'm in trouble when I get home. So,
Good point.
Yeah, here in Arizona, you got to let somebody know because there's just too much stuff that could go wrong here in the desert.
Sure.
Yeah, the desert's got to be different. That would be a fun area to try to dig.
That's what we keep telling him.
Plenty of bullets. Plenty of bullets.
Plenty of lead, he says. Lots and lots of lead. If you're a lead farmer, that's the place to
I
be.
would say you probably chances on the lead is going to be 60 modern, 40 old.
well, you got to figure too. That's desert. There's nothing out there, so you have nothing else to do but shoot guns.
Well, shooting guns was a necessity of life out there. You had to go kill your food.
Yeah. But still,
Yeah.
it seemed like always a lot
These
of
days, it's just target practicing.
yeah.
The joy
Great.
about the desert is it doesn't deteriorate metal as fast. Metal will last in the ground a lot longer because of the dryness.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
That's
if you
true.
ever want to do any metal detector around my area, because I'm in Indiana, you're more than welcome. I got some spots up here to go.
Where you at?
I live in Edinburgh. I don't know if you know where Columbus, Indiana is.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with both places. As a kid, I used to frequent a place up there called Lags Billiards.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah,
my
I'm
cl-
about 2 miles from the Edinburgh Outlet Mall, right opposite.
oh yeah, my wife knows exactly where that place is at.
Yep, I'm 2 miles away from.
That's really cool. It's a small world. I've done a little bit of digging up that way. I'm trying to think where we stopped. We didn't quite make it that far north. Um, it's a little town on Highway 7 coming in. I just can't remember the name of the town, but we've been up in that area.
You got Elizabethtown, Hope. Um,
It's just after North Vernon.
um, that
You
would be.
say it, I'll remember it.
It's not Elizabethtown.
What's that?
Elizabethtown.
Nope. It's on 7 before you get to 31. And it's after you leave North Vernon.
Salem.
I played softball there. There's a softball park and that park was there was an old school next to it. Gosh, maybe it's Volga.
North Vernon.
Volga? Does that sound right?
No.
You're a little further north though, so. But Edinburgh is where Cummins moved all their work a long time ago.
Yep.
I worked for Holset in Madison, which was a derivative of Cummins for a little bit. So
Right.
all that work went up there. Played a lot of softball up there back when I was young.
Oh yeah.
So where's your next big area you're thinking about hunting? You got any big?
Well, it's funny you say that. So I watched, where do we all go get when we want to learn about something anymore? We're lazy a little bit. First thing we do is we pop it into YouTube and see what's out there, right?
Yeah.
I got to decide here I want to go. I'm going to pop it into YouTube. So I typed in, I'm going on vacation here in about 2 weeks, and we're going to this place called Dauphine Island. It's off of Mobile, Alabama. It's in the Gulf,
Uh-huh.
and it's a strip island. It's nothing but beaches, and so I type in YouTube Dauphine Island metal detecting. All these videos come up, right? There's like 10 videos. There's a big channel that's got 100,000 subscribers. It's called Exploring Alabama. They got this video about them out there digging on the beach. And I'm like, well, cool. I mean, there's all these videos, so it's got to be, all right there, right?
Right.
And then we're about 2 weeks out from doing it, and I said, well, you know what? Just to cover my bases, I'll check the rules and laws down there. It's a historically protected island, and you're not supposed to dig there. But there's 50 videos on YouTube about people digging metal detecting there on the beach. So I'm not gonna take my chances. I'm gonna run over to like the Pensacola area in
Right.
Florida and go see Charlie digging it back. I haven't got a chance to meet him, so I'm gonna go dig with him a little bit.
Oh.
Hopefully Rob can drag his butt up from Tampa and I get to hang out with those guys
Yeah,
a
I
little
doubt
bit.
that will happen. But
He's supposed to.
yeah.
Never know. Right, Rob? You never know.
Well, yeah. Well, Rob has some physical ailments right now that he needs to deal with. But yeah, he would be up there in a heartbeat too.
Listen, I want him to go because if he goes with us, we get great parking.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Well, good luck on that hunt then, too.
Oh yeah, we'll have a blast. I do have some other stuff kind of planned out. It's just that it's one of those things that when my work slows down, then I get out and I'll dig every day.
Right.
And when summertime starts rolling in, I'll dig every day. Right now, just like our good buddy that's in the chat right now, Mr. Luke Duke, it's morel season, so trying to find some of those while I got a chance too, because
Oh yeah.
I love eating those things. And that guy there, he's got some good spots up there. It's funny, he's on one side of the river where he finds his mushrooms, and I'm on the other. I go just a little bit south of where he hunts. I don't know exactly where he hunts, but what a nice guy, man. There's talking about the prospecting community. I compliment our good friend Flash, Ed Marvin, every chance I get because man, that's how I learned to live stream watching Ed and then all these folks that come through this chat, the whole prospecting community has treated me great and treated me like a brother and shared their craft, showed me how to do whatever they do, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, it's cool. Great bunch of people for sure.
Absolutely.
Always, 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 do anything in the world for you. Yeah. Well, don't you take your detector with you when you're mushroom hunting?
Yeah, it's in the car. Well, I got to hike. I got the two spots I go are nice hikes. And when you find a place that produces a little bit, you want to go back and make sure you get them every year and
Right.
hopefully beat somebody to find in your spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I take my metal detector everywhere in the spring. It doesn't matter. If I see a park, I'll stop and dig if I'm out and about.
Right. You just always have it with you.
Yes, sir.
Never leave home without it. Right. Makes sense to me.
Yep.
You never know when opportunity's going to arise, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke, anytime, bro. If you and Colin want to dig, I'm down. I go anytime.
For mushrooms or for
Oh
birds?
no, Luke wants to do some detecting. And then Colin lives down, Heavy Metal Detective. He lives down in Louisville. He's right down the road from me, so I get to see him a little bit more often.
That's cool. You guys get together and go do some treasure hunting. Yeah.
All about that. Yeah, I got Colin on his first military relic last year. Got him a nice infantry button.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
when you take your buddies out and they find something that's historically relevant or just something to knock off their bucket list, it's a
Right.
good day, man. Don't get me wrong, I want to find everything, but as long as it comes out of the ground, I'm a pretty happy guy.
What's your dream find? What's the thing you really want to find your
A
bucket list?
flipping gold coin, dude.
Everybody wants to.
You and me both, buddy.
All right,
Well, I'm
other
like,
than gold coin.
well, and the deal is that it's like this. I know what's out there because a gold coin rings up like tinfoil. Everybody doesn't dig tinfoil signals. Everybody digs silver signals.
Uh-huh.
And a gold coin is going to sound like trash. It's going to sound like can slaw. It's going to sound like a pull tab, depending upon what size it is or how big it is.
Right.
So they're still in the ground.
Oh, they are. They're still
But
out
the
there.
whole problem is that you know how much trash you're going to have to dig one. So you use process of elimination. You get on old ground, as places that that when they were circulating, whatever, from whenever they were brought over here from England, France, wherever, all the way up through the early 1900s. And then you try to find spots that don't have a lot of trash, and then keep your fingers crossed that one of these days it's going to come out of the ground.
It will. It's, one of these days. It will
25
happen.
years later,
Yeah,
yeah.
it might be. It might be, dude. It might be the last thing you ever find, but you will find one of these days.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's if you keep swinging, you have to find it. The odds are in your favor, I
I
think.
dig those signals every time I go out because that's the hope.
I dig them all.
Yeah, I guess you have to, right?
That's
Yeah,
why I
Shane,
ain't hunting out here because all the bullets. It's just yeah.
That way I don't have to dig them again.
It sounds yeah, lead and a gold coin probably are very similar sometimes because lead is a very solid signal. You can't ignore it. And if you hit a gold coin that's laying flat, it's going to sound solid, just it's going to be a lower tone. So I'm sure it's probably very similar.
Wow.
yeah, Shane, I'd like to find a gold coin also, but I really want to find a skeleton key like you did.
Yeah, you know what? Let me.
Yeah, let's
It's got to be
see
right
if you can
here.
find this thing. We got to see this skeleton key.
Yeah, but that's cool.
I've
I want
always
to find a
liked
key. I
old
want to find a
keys.
key with a lock.
Oh, you've liked old keys, Jaron?
Yeah, never found one. I've found keys, but they were like house keys, truck keys, vehicle keys, but not an
I have
old
a
key.
whole bunch of skeleton keys. I could have gave. I don't have them no more.
Yeah, I've never found a skeleton key either.
So mid 1800s,
Make
they
you
looked a lot like this. It's a very similar design.
uh-huh.
They're all made of brass. This one was trashed and it's kind of bent. Uh, all the wear on these keys are right on the outer edge because people hung them in their finger.
Uh-huh.
So they would put them in there, so the wear is always right here.
Ah.
Now, the one that I got, the one that I was talking about in question, is like this. Look at the way the teeth are made on it. I've cleaned this thing down because it was so rusted. But then when you go back to the very tip of this thing, the circumference here is a lot wider on the sides, but where they held it, it's completely wore out. It's almost broken through.
Wow. That thing's
I had it. It was gonna end up the whole story was gonna end up being in a magazine, and it for some reason the whole thing fell apart and the story went away, so I never got any kind of public anything shown publicly about it. But it's still one of my favorite finds to date.
That's
I,
cool.
I and it's iron, and most people don't think that you're gonna like iron finds, but to me
That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
it's something that you just can't the history of it, the age, the whole 9 yards is well worthwhile. I don't get me wrong, silver coins are great. Stuff like that is very unique.
Right. I would think like an old sword or something would be cool too. Yeah.
Oh man, a sword would be amazing. A bayonet. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Something like that. That's what I mean. I think you may find something like that easier than a gold coin.
You ever find any Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Listen, I personally own 2% of a Bitcoin.
There we go. See?
I mean, that's I've been buying into it for a while. It just seems like it's a very slow grow.
That's on my bucket list. I'm gonna metal detect the Bitcoin.
I'm out to detect the Bitcoin.
I'm gonna wish you all the luck in the world.
Have you found any firearms?
Nope, never found a gun. Uh, I magnet fish a little bit too in hopes to find a gun, but haven't been lucky enough to pull one out yet.
Ah, yeah, because where'd you magnet fish at? The Ohio River?
Everywhere. Just recently, the last time I was out, I only go magnet fishing about 3 times a year.
Uh-huh.
The last time we were out, we were up around downtown Cincinnati. The backwater on the streams through there that feed the Ohio. And we didn't have a whole lot of luck. They said they dredged those areas quite frequently.
Oh,
So
probably.
I still haven't found a gun yet, but I go to Michigan. I got a lot of friends up there and it seems like firearms come out of the water up there
Oh, I
very
bet.
frequently.
Yeah. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah.
Must have had more guns and crime in Michigan than Indiana.
Must be. Could be something like that. Yeah. Maybe around the Chicago area too. Might be quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get shot either,
Right. Yeah.
I'm way too friendly for the city, right? I make eye contact. I try to say hi, hey, what's going on? And we went to New Orleans a few years back, and I learned real quick that you don't make eye contact or talk to people down there because they're they think everybody's crazy. So I mean, I'm 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 not a Southern boy, but man, I sure was raised like one. You always make eye contact, say hello to everybody, be as friendly as you can, and hope for the best.
Yep.
And I never had any trouble, but brother, when you get down there in places like that where everybody's nuts are trying to rob you, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. You try to avoid them kind of places at all cost. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'd just rather go check some country streams. Yeah. Yep. And rivers for magnet fishing then. Without a doubt. Craziness is what it is. Yeah.
When you're doing your research on certain locations to go metal detecting or magnet fishing, what do you recommend to people who might want to try it out?
So, first and foremost is that the easiest resource that anybody has is historic aerials, right? Just look at the farthest back that they've got aerial photography for your area. You can see different structures, uh, and you can see where things were at, maybe not super far back, but in the 1940s, that 40s and 50s, and sometimes even the 30s. Um, I always, Library of Congress, I always search there for just type in there was a couple of years that they did Sanborn Insurance did fire maps for the government. So like 1883 is a very popular map year. So wherever you live, Tempe, Arizona, 1883 Sanborn fire map. You may find some stuff that's hidden away.
Huh.
Local, going to the library and reading the old local newspapers. Believe it or not, the library will have some old paper documentation that you may not find on the internet. You got to be you got to be looking for something specific at that point. It's not generally searching, but um, I have the name of a couple I have a name of a farmer where it's one of my next digs here that moved to the county that I live in, and I've got his name. I found his history, where he's buried at, uh, and then I found his property, and then come to find out that when he came here as a doctor, so he had a practice out there at his house. and we found that where the old house was at. So the next part is that we've got all our stuff together. But when you look at it on the map today, it just looks like a nice little clearing in a wooded area. So that's the next one, and he was here since the 1830s. So hoping for some of that seeded coin or something like that.
Yeah,
Definitely
sure.
looking for some large cents and stuff like that with this one.
Cool.
But it's just a matter of studying your area where you're digging. If you can't find it online, check the library. But U.S. Library of Congress and Sanborn maps. If you type those types of things in, 1883 was a very popular year. You can find some stuff.
Nice. That's good information right there.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah, that's pretty cool. So you definitely spent some time doing a lot of research, obviously.
I read a lot, honestly, because the only way you're gonna beat there's COVID hit and metal detecting became one of the most popular hobbies in America because A, it's a solitary activity. B, you're not in nobody's face. You're out in the fresh air
Right.
by yourself. It became super popular and everybody bought detectors. So now everybody's out digging, and then the more they dig, the more they learn how to find spots. So you've got to increase your craft on research, or you know what, here in 10 years, where the spot's going to be, you're going to have to keep going out of your way to find something different, better,
Yeah.
to keep
Yep.
keep your addiction going, right? You gotta get that rush.
Wow. So where's your dream place to metal detect at? If you
Fort
can
Knox.
oh.
Where?
But I said Fort Knox because I hope there's
Oh,
still gold in that. I hope there's still gold there.
There ain't
yeah.
no gold in there. It's just dust.
No,
I haven't
no.
went in there, so I'd probably say it's gone.
I would really like to try England. I know a lot of people go over there on trips. That's
Yeah.
one of the places that I've always wanted to go. Uh, Italy is a place that has thousands of years of history. Greece, in the Mediterranean, on the islands, there's always been inhabitants.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think of places like that. Turkey. Istanbul is an ancient city. There's got to be stuff there everywhere. I just think about where ancient civilization was at, and that's where I'd like to be.
Ah, that'd be cool.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now, so you don't really do any gold prospecting or
A little bit.
oh, you do? Okay. So
I
you
mean, like if I get a chance to go up and see Ed or those guys,
right.
I like to pan a little bit. He showed me how to use all the big gear. Uh,
Cool.
but what I found about prospecting is it's a hell of a lot of work. And and some days it makes a tender little guy like myself a little sore.
It puts a beating on you some days, don't it?
Oh, yeah.
There is nothing better than seeing your first flake of gold in the bottom of a pan.
Right.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
if I had the time, or if it was a very heavy area, I know that there's some gold in Indiana. I mean, we've
Oh yeah.
we've found it. Uh,
Well, there's no gold in Indiana.
yeah,
It's
there's
all
no
in
gold in
Utah.
Indiana.
Your first gold flake that you find in your pan looks like my picture right there.
Yeah.
You think it's so big, it's so wonderful. It's just a little pepper flake.
Bro, it's I still got a vial around here somewhere that first day, and it, w- gold fever is real, man. People get
Oh,
it and they're like, oh, it's on right now, because if you can spend 2 hours and you can find this much, just think if you find the right spot, if you find the collective crevice in the rock in the creek, where thousands of years it piled up, the possibility is there, and it's the same as everything else. It takes over your brain. And gold fever could be very real. I go once or twice a year, just with one of my buddies around here, a little further north. There's a couple creeks that we like to go to. I think everybody went to Greensburg a year or so ago, last year, to an event, and it's not too far from there that we like to go.
Right.
I tell you what, the best thing is, and I've got a few videos, is catching their very first expression the first time they find gold. That's
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think we
And
got that on video when we finally got through that first pan. But Ed, bless Ed Marvin, right? He took us out there and put us in the creek, gave us all his equipment, and showed us how to use it, and then just turned us loose with it for a day. There was a group of us that had never been, none of us had been prospecting before. And there was four of us in this little group, and we all come out with a little bit of gold. And it's just one of those things. You gotta be, if you like treasure hunting, there's nothing better than looking for gold, right? That's the ultimate.
It is.
So
It is.
you got to do it all, man.
Yeah, you got to be. Yeah, what's that? Something. Yeah, if you're into treasure hunting, you're into all of it. Yeah, like you said, gold, metal detecting, all of it. Yeah.
Shane, did you see Jeff Brewer's prospecting's comment to you? Said
Uh,
Shane would need a step ladder to feed the high banker.
yeah, that was true. Hey, listen, I'm not a big guy. I don't care what anybody says. You know what? If you hit me, I fall to the ground very fast.
You're closer
I
to
don't
the
got
ground.
I don't got far to go. So
That's
you're not
right.
going to have to get that as your knockout. No, listen, I'm built to torture. Uh you guys can say whatever you want. I'm pretty stupid in the head. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Hey, it's closer to the ground when you dig them targets too.
You ain't kidding. My knees are going to be good.
I'm just saying. Yeah. See, so there's good sides to it. That's
I think life's too short to take everybody so seriously.
you
So
ain't a kid, brother. That's a fact. Yeah.
yeah, if it makes you laugh to get a joke at my expense, by all means, hit
Go
me up.
for it. Right. This is the right place for that. So you like treasure hunting. Are you looking for that treasure? That one from There's Treasure Inside?
Oh yeah, I got we listen. I'm not supposed to talk about this,
Come on, we could share info here.
but I got a friend that the same friend that I prospect with. Uh, we already have been out looking for one.
Well, it'd have to be the one that's in Ohio, I'm sure, right? Which one are you looking for?
I don't know that there's one in. I haven't. I'm not sure that there's. I'm not going to say that I'm not sure that there's one in Ohio, but I'm pretty sure there's one in Arkansas.
You think it's in Arkansas? Which one?
The
If
Pokemon
not the
one.
same one. The Pokemon one? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, interesting.
wait a minute, time out. What are we? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
The Pokemon
So
treasure from the treasure inside.
listen, I've been through the book. That's pretty. It's a pretty incredible story. I like to read. But if you're not interested in going out looking for X marks the spot for hidden treasure, man, and then
Right,
you don't have dreams at that point if you're not interested in that.
right. See, the one I'm looking at is the past and present, the past and future box. Yeah, that's the one that I'm focusing on.
That's what.
I'm
That could be nice to get any of them.
in a private setting, I'm more than willing to sit down and have a conversation
We'll have to all just have
and work out some kind of thought processes because I don't think we're very far off on the one. I think we're really really close. Everything lines up and matches. It's such a you think about it when you're looking at it doing research on a computer, you're looking at dots on a map, right? You're looking at spots. But when you get out into the actual area where you're at, the hike is no joke. You've got to be physically fit for the hike. And you're talking a whole, sometimes you're talking 4 hours of hiking into a spot to get to where you might be looking. Forrest Fenn's treasure, man. Just imagine how many hours people spent looking for that thing hiking.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than just deciphering a riddle. You've got to actually put feet to the ground and get out there and see what he saw when he hid this thing. And sometimes that's not easy.
Did you
So
watch that recent documentary about Forrest Fenn's treasure on Netflix?
no, I did not.
Oh, you did?
It's about 3 weeks old now.
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't been on. I don't have much time to watch TV. If I'm not sitting down here looking for something to do, um, talking to different members of the community for whatnot, I I'm generally not watching TV a whole lot anymore, and that's not a bad thing. But if there's something like that on there, I'll definitely look it up.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for anybody, but let's just say a group of people spent way too much time in the wrong area.
Yeah. We'll just say,
Yeah, look at that, misconstruing a clue, right? Or, and you can go down a rabbit hole. Listen, I'm there. That's why I'm not 100% certain that we're right on where the one is. We think we're close, but you know what? We could be taking the wrong part of the story, and it just this your brain wants to connect the dots.
yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you think you found a connection, you may have, or you may be going way out in left field.
Sure.
That's the beauty of being a treasure hunt. You got to get in that guy's head.
Well, Shane, what about? I got to ask you this: Curse of Oak Island, yes or no?
It's all a money making TV show. Listen,
You don't like, huh?
I'm not
Right.
saying, listen, I'm not saying that there's nothing there. I'm just saying that, man, they've got everybody convinced that there's something more there than what, I mean, it's possible, but but the money, the treasure is the TV show and the livelihood they've created for themselves in having it. Uh, and people that'll sit by the TV nonstop and watch it. I mean, I,
Guilty.
I just don't believe it's right.
Guilty. I watch it.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not out there, but I can't think of off the top of my head any like really serious detectorists that are watching that show.
Really? Well, see,
No.
I,
No.
I mean,
I can't
it's
help
back
it.
to that. It's back to that allure, of finding something to make you rich, right? Man, finding that one thing that'll make you rich. I don't, but they found it. It's the TV show.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
the longer they can string you along to that TV show, the more money they're going to make. And at a certain point, you just got to think it's about the show and not about that treasure.
And it's
Yeah,
been,
Right.
now they do have some good detectorists go out there on the show,
You're right. They have. They've
Huh?
had.
but
yeah. So you got to go, okay. And they do get stuff out of the ground where it shouldn't be. So it's like, okay. So,
It's just, just not knowing who's been through those areas and the way they've looked and dug and spent money. I mean, the budget for that show is amazing.
it
I
has been.
gotta say it's a great idea, but I can create a story and come up with something, and then give me an island that I know people have inhabited over the years, and I'm gonna find things that make you think that it might be true.
Yeah.
What kind of storyteller would you be if you didn't, right? That's
Yeah.
the whole goal.
How many years has it been on now? Like 12?
I don't know, but they've got
I
at
gotta
least
tell
three
you, I've only watched
spin-offs.
like 2 episodes of it.
Oh, I got to keep
Probably
watching.
much longer than Gold Rush, to be honest with you.
Right. About the same amount of time, right, Rob?
No.
Yeah, I swear they come out around the same time. It was like Gold Rush and then Curse of Oak Island. And then they all started popping up. Yeah.
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 I mean,
Yeah, now they have like three different spin-offs on it too.
Yeah. Oh, they don't do them no more, do they? The spin-offs for the
I
Oak
don't know.
Island
I
thing?
don't watch them, so I wouldn't
I
know.
think them were like just a flop.
Yeah, that one was pretty good about the Confederate money and stuff.
Civil War one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting though. Just fine.
love the history. I just I don't want to make myself believe in something that's not really there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure. I would have better luck finding treasure doing my research than going by theirs.
Yeah. It's still, it'll be cool if they finally do pull something up out of the ground other than timbers. I'm looking forward to it, but it's just took a long time.
I think that they're going to find the covenant of the ark.
You think so?
Yeah. I think that's where it's buried.
Well, it could be Templar treasure. It's possible. I don't know what's there, but I
They're gonna
honestly
find
think,
another stick.
I think what was there was already found by Samuel Ball, and he spent it and whatever, did whatever with it, you know, because he went from a poor cabbage farmer to a rich man. So,
Yeah, I think
Dreams,
a lot.
dreams,
You
dreams.
keep quiet. You don't say anything, so no one can lay claim to it.
right, right.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts on it, but we'll see. Maybe.
There you go, Rich.
What are you doing? Oh,
They
yeah.
already
Phone
got
him
him.
in.
They already got him hooked.
Well, they got me and Dennis hooked for sure. We've been hooked since the beginning of that crap.
Yeah.
Listen, if you
You
enjoy your
guys
time
ripped
watching
right on
it,
the jaw, man. They're just reeling you in.
if you enjoy watching it, if it's time well spent in your brain, then so be
It
it.
is because there's not a lot of stuff like that on TV. That's like, you got Gold Rush, you got that. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. It's like,
Hey,
that's
whatever floats your boat, man. I mean,
got your,
25 years later, it'd be just like The Simpsons. It'll still be on.
yeah. They'll still be sinking them big caissons. And,
I've watched more episodes of The Simpsons than I have that show. We'll say that.
And there's more truth in The Simpsons too.
Apparently.
that's just like at that casino. Just that
That's
one
right.
more pool, you know?
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Well, maybe the Simpsons will do a show on Oak Island.
Yeah.
You never know.
Just like sitting at that slot machine. One more pool, one more pool, one more pool.
One more week. One more week. That's what I say. One more week. Next week they find the treasure. Next
Yep,
week.
they will eventually.
I mean, next week they find a gold coin.
Killing yourself.
That gold coin wouldn't pay a portion of the money they've spent. They better find a chest full of them.
Now, earlier when I was talking about your channel on your detectors, you use the Nocta Simplex and the other one. What other detectors have you used in the past, and what would you recommend for somebody who's looking into getting metal detectors?
You know, I'm biased. Okay, I'm a very big fan of the Nocta Macro products, but I do love the MindLab products as well. And where they've got these entry level machines at now, if you can put out a couple $100, you can get something that's going to go pretty deep, and they're all fine tunable. I think they're only going to get better.
Right.
As far as something that nobody really knows much about, if you have an opportunity to metal detect using pulse induction, it's expensive, but if somebody has one, it's a different sound and it's a different depth. I figure prospectors would love that, a pulse induction machine, because PI, when I go out with a PI machine, and I've only got to go out a couple times, I find deep nickels, and nickels sound like gold. It's the same signal. It's very similar. And I find things at great depth. There's a cost involved with that if somebody has it. But a few years back, there was a guy that used to work for Fisher. His name was Dimitar Gorgov. He created his own metal detector called a Tarsace, and he's got a patent on it's not VLF. It's like in between pulse induction and VLF. Pretty affordable machine in that aspect, and I only use it when I'm going out looking super deep. The VLF is great when you're looking in a park or you're looking in a place where you're bouncing signals all day long. That's fantastic. But this thing works really good out in the deeper soil. It helps you find the smaller target deep. And I still have dreams of finding gold with a metal detector too, right? So I like that one. It's called a Tersace MDT 8000. It's probably, I mean, and granted, it's a little pricey. It's about a $1,200 machine probably still. But the guy that manufactured it, if I pick up my phone and dial him and tell him I'm having a problem, he's going to tell me how to fix it. If something breaks on it, he's going to tell me how to fix it, and I can it's kind of nice when you can call the owner of a company and he will take your call.
Yeah. And help you get through your problem there. Yeah, definitely.
But the Nocta Legend is my go-to. That's what I play with most every day. Underwater, I like the Simplex because it's so lightweight. But yeah, I have preferences for everything. So
Yeah, I just want to point out, a lot of us know, but not all waterproof and underwater machines are created equal. Saltwater is a whole different animal, and it'll just set off some machines like crazy.
Yeah, that the Simplex is not great in salt water, but the Legend is pretty good underwater. But I have this thing in my head that it says it's waterproof 100%, but I, sometimes it's a little hard to submerge that thing in there, I'm sometimes I'm a little skeptical, although I've not had a problem like the Equinox 800 had. They had to send them back for a few years because they couldn't figure out why they were leaking. I haven't had that problem, and I submerge all my machines, but that first time you go to put it underwater, man, your butthole clenches up just a little bit when you submerge it. Because you're thinking, well, it's $800, right? Or
Yeah.
$400. And you're just throwing you're putting electronics in water.
Yeah. It just don't mix, right?
Yeah, just I don't know if you know where I live, Shane, but I live in Utah, and I had started out with an Ace 400, and I went down to the Great Salt Lake. That's when I found out that all machines are not created equal. It was just going off everything. I was like, the whole thing was just going off.
Yeah. The old Garrett's are like that too. I had an AT Pro for a while that I would take that thing anywhere, but anytime I got it next to salt water, you might as well forget it.
Is it the mineralization in the salt? Is that what it is? That
I'm guessing
go bonkers.
conductivity. I mean, it just made it erratic. The
Wow.
new ones are all really good. They all got a lot of them have to have a saltwater mode on them now that that really knocks that noise back. But that's just it. Sometimes you got to have that noise to get the depth, right? You're bouncing off of stuff in the ground. Uh, but well, when they figured out how to control that a little bit, and you can still hear through the noise, that's how you get the most depth. So,
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was detecting, and I was like, oh, there's a dead seagull. Oh, it's going off.
Got a dead seagull detector.
that Tarsace machine I got, it's got a black sand mode on it. And it is really good. It is so stable in the salt water. I never submersed it at all. I was scared too because I paid way too much for it. But on the beach, it did a really nice job.
Cool. Nice. See? So you have your machine set to where it's just that little buzzing sound in your ear.
I set them up differently, different modes for different things. I'm one of these people that if I'm looking for, when I go out treasure hunting, most of the time I'm looking for something specific. Like I'm set up for a day. Um, but yeah, I've got different programs for the Legend that I use in different modes. Sometimes I use like gold. Gold is just like if you were out looking for gold in the ground, I got a program for that. But it's just a one little signal in your head that you hear, if you get over it, and then you're going for max depth. It just depends on what you're doing. I know like the Deus 2, that's a machine that's out there right now. It's more programmable, but I mean it's another one that you're paying more money for.
Sure.
You got to find your affordability into what you want to do. That's kind of why I like the Legend. It's in the middle. It's
Right.
not super expensive, and I can do what I want with it.
That's what counts. Yeah. Because, I mean, a lot of people might want to buy one and then not like doing it. So you don't want to spend
Happens all the time. I
thousands of
always
dollars.
comb the pawn shops
Oh, I
because
bet.
people buy them, they don't take the time to figure them out, and then they take the fast $200 at the pawn shop, and then I go buy an extra detector. My wife doesn't like it, but I go buy an extra detector just so that I have them. But I generally, if I go get one at a deal, I find somebody that wants to hunt that can't afford it, and I'll give it away. I
Wow.
mean,
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
kids
and when it comes
especially,
to
right?
gold, there's two different types of machines. There's one for placer gold, and then there's one for like gold rings, coins, and stuff. And most low ends will pick up a gold to a certain depth, like a ring or something. But when it comes to a little flake of gold, you have to have specific machines, and they're going to
Yeah.
cost you money.
Yeah.
I got to play with the Gold Monster, the Mine Lab, a few years ago,
Yeah.
and that's one that I would like to try out. In the prospecting field, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I've tried the
Hey,
Gold
come on
Monster
here.
1000 too.
Got a gold monster and a picture of Go Bug. I'll hand you the gold monster, and I'll swing my fishers and let you run it for a day or weekend or whatever.
I'd like to try. Every time's a learning experience, right? You figure out what works and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Dennis does have one.
Yep.
The only one of us that has one. Fancy, fancy gold monsters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Me and Rich just have old Garrett Ace 250s and stuff.
I still
Yeah.
have the AT Pros, what I eventually upgraded to, and
And I
that's what I
still
still
find
have.
trash.
Yeah, and we still find trash. It don't matter what. I could have a $10,000 machine. I'm still gonna find trash. I ain't gonna.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know what it is. It's like
The cigarette aluminum packs.
can't
if you're
ever
not
find
digging
them.
trash, you're not digging coins.
Yeah, but it seems like that's all we ever find is trash. It's like, really?
Well, you never know. I mean, I found a gold ring in my backyard.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah. But it's still, it's just one of them tricky things.
Yep.
If I went somewhere cool that I know, oh, there was a civil war here, you know,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. Then it's not like, okay, everything I find here is from an old campfire, like I said, tinfoil and crap like that. Then it would be pretty awesome.
Lid and
Yeah.
from
Full
yeah.
tank beer caps. Yeah.
See, and this is where I'm guilty, and it's gonna make Shane cringe. But I use iron to scrim and notch it out, and
I listen. I hear iron. That's my goal. So when I'm looking for an old home site, I leave the iron on. The one great thing about the Legend is that you can lower the iron volume. So, because sometimes iron you can trick you into thinking it's a high tone, but if you lower the iron volume and still listen to the grunt and hear the iron, when you're in a bed of nails, and then you can look for the squeak in between it because that's how you search within the iron. So I don't discriminate any signals out. I just change the volume of the setting.
Ah,
So like an iron tone, I lower the volume down to where I just can hear it. And then that way I know it's there and I know that I'm not digging a 10-inch silver coin, but I might be digging 5 nails at 7 inches deep, and there might be something in there, but I don't go into it thinking that I found pay dirt.
all right. Ah,
yes, and I'm shooting myself in the foot wanting to find a old skeleton key because I won't even hear it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, the
yeah.
iron ones, the brass one you'll hear, you're a couple hundred years newer at that point. And like I said, it's all specific. If you don't have a plan in your head what you're looking for when you start digging, you can discriminate. Discrimination's a tricky road, right? You can find all the silver coins, but what if you're set up for just high tones and you end up going over a site that's got Civil War brass buttons and stuff like that and a lot of Civil War bullets and stuff like that. You'll never hear them because you're looking for high tones.
Huh.
uh, and so I don't necessarily know that I'm going to get back to every place that I go, so I try not to discriminate out a lot. I try to listen for all the signals because you don't know what's going to be hot some days.
Huh. Yeah, good point.
I'm guessing I hope I find it like I do find marbles stupidly, because marbles obviously not metallic, but I find them all the time. And
Yeah,
because it's just next to something else.
Yeah.
marbles and old, you know that you're in a good spot when you start finding marbles and old kids' toys, right?
Right.
Because they were playing in the front yard. When you get out in the woods and you see the wildflowers that aren't wildflowers that have been growing there for 100 years because there was a homestead nearby and mama wanted to see flowers in her front yard, but the house is gone. There's all kinds of like indicators that you might be in the spot, but
Right.
you just gotta keep after it. But I just can't bring myself to notch out too much because I don't want to miss something. I definitely don't want to miss that gold coin.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to miss out on any good treasures for sure. That makes sense. Yeah, I like the discriminate button myself. I go a little crazy with it.
In the park, but see, there you go. In the park, some days you
Uh-huh.
have to, right? There's a couple signals in the park that you have just got to take out. Now, granted, that signal is going to produce a ring or it's going to produce a piece of jewelry. But sometimes, if you're in a heavily populated area, you don't want to sit there and dig pull tabs all day. You want to find other things. So I get it sometimes. It's just that it's risk versus reward. That gold ring that you're looking for is going to come in sounding like one of them pull tabs. Do you want to take that chance? What about that
Well,
diamond
I don't I
engagement?
don't discriminate on the pull tabs because when I hit the parks, I've also found gold rings in the parks. So I'll dig those pull tabs, and man, they are annoying, but you have to.
Yeah, the thing of it is that the only time I get where I want to discriminate is after I've dug 500 pull tabs in a day, right? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna high tone shoot for the last hour, in hopes of finding something silver or something to that effect. But most of the day, I'll grin and bear it, just take it.
Just keep
So
digging.
since this holiday is coming up, I'm going to mention this. Our one of our local parks, they have Easter egg hunts.
Uh-huh.
So there's all these chocolate little eggs covered in tinfoil, and the
And
kids are throwing wrappers everywhere.
yes.
So I wait for like 2 months for anyone else that's out metal detecting to go clean it up for me.
Makes sense.
Every one of them Hershey eggs is wrapped in foil. Yeah.
Yep.
And Hershey kisses wrapped in foil.
Oh yeah.
It'll make your metal detector go off too.
And yeah, that's the part that gets to you. You're like, really? Again? 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 That's when you go, I'm going home.
You know, you start finding all them foil wrappers, you start thinking, I'm gonna start finding the kids' teeth around here.
Yeah.
Bet you they're gonna
Old cigarette foil.
One of these days we're gonna find a gold tooth, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Got to.
It's gonna happen.
Yep. It has.
I found a gold grill once, and yeah, it was kind of freaky.
That's close, Rob, to a gold tooth.
Yeah.
Right?
found a beautiful gold ring or diamond ring on the beach.
Oh
Rob,
yeah, yeah.
right. Yeah. I guess the only way you find it though, you got to be out there looking.
That's
Yep.
You
the
can't
key.
find it sitting in your basement, right?
Right. If you're not
Yeah.
out there hunting, you ain't gonna find no targets, no treasures, no.
And majority of the time, I dig it all. There may be times where I might just cherry pick, but
Right.
I've already dug it all, and I'm just looking for that one type of tone that says, "Hey, I'm here. Come dig me up."
What digging tool you use, Shane?
Predator tools. The Piranha is my favorite. I have a couple of the other smaller shovels, like the hand shovels, but that Piranha is I can't break it. So if I can't break it, then it's obviously doing its job.
Right. Okay.
What do you prefer as a pinpointer?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I've got all of them. I always find myself going back to the Garrett Carrot, and I got the one from Note to Macro last year that programs to my legend. I want it. Obviously, I did something wrong with that thing because it never seems to function properly when I want it to. And then, but I got the MI4 from Deus, and it's a really nice one too. But the familiarity with the Garrett Carrot, it just seems it's always done the job. I don't think I need anything else, even though I got the others.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. Good choice. Yeah. Nice. I'm trying to think what else.
Oh yeah.
There's something else I wanted to ask you, Shane. Crap, I can't even remember now. My mind's drawing a blank.
What?
What, Dennis?
I said what?
Oh, now are there any events you got planned this summer or that you'll be
The summer, no. I like I said, we're going on our trip. Uh, we're going on a ghost hunting thing here at Waverly Hills coming up. Just a group of some of the people in the Treasure fam. We're going down there for that. I kind of organized that deal. Other than the helping everybody promote their YouTube channels on Mondays, and then just my live stream on Thursday is always about it's just about community and trying to, because I think if you're in YouTube, I think it's not an easy venture to be successful, and I think a lot of folks are very different in personality,
Right.
and I just I would much rather take my time, and I've been through it all. I've built several channels and to a certain point, and now I really enjoy helping other people. I think just getting through it to where they find it enjoyable to do. Some people get frustrated. Um, Mondays, hashtag Monday Digs. We've been doing that for almost 5 years, and helping small channels get the feel of putting out videos, being part of a community. Hopefully, what we're doing is we're building a bigger, stronger community. That's the goal with all of it. That's the main reason I do the live stream, is that I just want to. If somebody wants a chance to learn or something like that, they give me a call. I'll help them out. That's kind of my MO.
Right.
The treasure hunting's a blast. I haven't, I do it all the time, and I still make the videos, but I think I get more enjoyment out of the people. I like this is awesome. Tuesday night, I'm going over to Angie and Rick's. I've never been on her live stream, so I'm going to see what that's like. Might be in trouble over there. The prospecting community is amazing. The magnet fishing community is awesome. And I have a lot of respect for the people that do it. So it's a different type of family. I don't go out here and make friends where I live,
Right.
because most of the people around here, I guess I guess you don't find the right people. I don't
Right.
know how to explain it. It's just different.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yep. Makes sense, buddy. It definitely does. Well, we want to thank you for sure for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Anytime, man, hit me
It's
up.
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
I'm glad to come back.
Heck yeah. Well, we'll do that.
I
Yeah.
can run my mouth all day long if you haven't noticed.
Hey, good job. I like that when people just talk. It just makes my life easier. And you had some great answers. No, really, Shane. Thank you, buddy. We do appreciate it. We really do.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Anytime, like I said, if anytime anybody asks, I try to accommodate. It's nice meeting all you guys. Some of you I kind of knew, so it's definitely cool. I I wish I was a little bit more solid in the prospecting side of things. I mean, I know how to do it, but that's a whole other world. And
Yeah.
just to listen to people explain it, I'd love to find a nugget someday,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of work too.
Yeah, it is. And it's all about where you're at, I think, too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to show me all your spots, we'll go.
All right, cool.
Well, I'd invite you to Utah, but it would be a waste of your time to come find gold.
If you want to go gold prospecting, you got to hook up with Dennis right there. He's closest to you, and you'll find gold. So,
Yeah, you're not far away at all.
Now,
yeah.
there's some nice creeks in Indiana. There really is. I mean, if he's finding it elsewhere, that's a deal. Yeah, anybody, feel free to anybody in the chat today if want to hook up or whatever, and we're not far away. Just hit me up in Facebook. I'll gladly make a weekend to come hang out. I'm definitely about spending time with other people. So
Awesome, brother. That sounds great. All right. Well, enjoy your vacation and good luck on everything. And we will talk to you again soon, hopefully. Okay.
all
Yeah,
right,
buddy.
fellas, thank you.
Shane,
All right.
take
Take
care,
care.
bro.
Here, bro.
Peace.
Later,
Good night,
Shane.
everybody.
Later. All right, everybody. Shane, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Learn a lot every time we have these metal detectors. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, no problem.
Good job. Good job. I hope other people learn from Scott. Are you froze?
No,
Oh,
just sit here listening to you.
like your screen was frozen. You were like not moving, motionless. I was like, Scott's screen's froze up again. Ah, yeah, get out and do some detecting, Rich, one of these days and find something, right?
Yeah.
Pull tabs.
And pull. And Scott, you got to go and find something other than buckshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go over to the fairgrounds where they usually have the county fairs and stuff.
Right.
Get lucky, maybe, but
All right, just never know, I guess. Right?
mhm.
Just don't know. I guess we need to start doing it more often.
Probably say the beaches is probably your best bet if you ever have any, beaches around your area.
I don't know.
Yeah, but the beaches, you got to have the right metal detectors. If not, salt water sets it off.
Oh, if it's saltwater beaches, yeah. 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 I don't know what I got around me, honestly. I have to look and see. I know there's a lot of Indian activity around here.
Yeah.
Good to see someday. Huh, interesting. But I enjoyed that. Shane was a good guest.
Oh yeah.
Learned a lot. Yep. All right. So I guess
Me
on that
too.
note, we'll go ahead and wrap her up unless anybody.
Well, don't forget about Flash in Your Pan Tuesday night hangout live, where he's gonna have our other buddy Brian Wilder.
Brian.
Right.
Oh,
Brian Wilder.
tune in for that. Go check out old Brian
8 p.m. Eastern on Flash in Your Pan on
Tuesday
YouTube.
night. Is it still Tuesday night hangouts?
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
I thought it was. Yeah, still Tuesday night hangouts with old Ed Marvin. Fashion your pan. That's right. Just like to make sure. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you all next Sunday at 7:30. Have a great week. Enjoy your Easter. We're out of here.
Buddy.
Good night, Go Dave.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Be sure to tune in next Sunday at 7:30 for another great show. For updates and more info, please go to www.prospectorsradio.com.
Good night, Gold Diggers.
Well, look at that.